Hello, you little criminals. This is Grace from Whodunit Mysteries. So once you purchase the game, there are going to be two files. One is a host packet, and that's everything that you need as a host. And the other is the player packets. And that is just a list. Each character has their own individual file that you can send off to them. Everything that needs to be done can be done electronically. Any paper copies that you may need to print out, those are completely optional, but we're gonna go through all of that. So I'm gonna switch the camera angle, and then we're gonna go through everything that you need to know about the player packet and the hosting packet. Like I said earlier, everything that is necessary for the game can be done electronically. There are some things in the hosting packet that in order to use them, they have to be printed off, but they are optional items. The first one is the name tags. Hello, you may call me blah, 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 whatever their name is. You can print these off on paper and cut it out, or they also work on just a standard name tag that you would print out and take the sticky off, like take it off and stick it onto your shirt. So make sure that you print enough. If you choose to use these, make sure that you print enough for all of the characters to have one. There is also note cards. Each character has these note cards in their packet, but if you want to print them off, because you know that we've got some paper users, feel free to do it, but it's not necessary. The next thing is the casting the vote page. If you choose to do voting this way, awesome, go for it. It will lead into the awards that we have, but you don't have to cast your votes this way. We only include one page of casting the votes, so if you do use this, make sure that you print off enough for each character who's going to be voting. Notice it has best costume, most theatrical, and then the criminal's name. Leading into that, we have little awards that you can print off. The first one is the best villain. Dun, dun, dun. This can be pre-filled out if you know who the villain is. If you don't know, awesome, you can just wait until everybody else finds out. But the best villain. We have the best costume, which if you use the voting cards, you would just tabulate and see who got the most votes for the best dressed. We have the best actor. Again, this is using the voting cards. The people that they said were the most theatrical become the best, or get the best actor award. And then you have the Smarty Pants award. This is for anybody who guessed the criminal correctly. You may have to print out more than one of these because very often more than one person do guess it right. So print off a couple extra of these if you are planning on using the voting cards. So let's go through the hosting packet. This is just a basic hosting packet. It gives the name, Camp Run-A-Muk, how many players. We're going through the 10-player packet, but the 20-player is pretty much the same. Inside we have the hosting guide that gives you just the general rules. It gives you some ideas of what to do before the game. Assigning players, it gives you ideas of timelines of when to assign players and how to distribute the player parts. It's easiest, honestly, the easiest thing is to just email them the part. That's just the easiest, and then they can read their part off of their phone, or if they want to print a copy, they can print it off. You do not need to feel any obligation unless you want to print off the parts. Everything in this game can be done electronically. It does let you know what is in the player packets. It gives you a general outline of what the party looks like. So it just says, okay, before the game, as players arrive, what to do before, like, the questioning starts. Questioning begins. Memory jogger 1, memory jogger 2, vote, and then read the show must go on, and then hand out awards. Under hosting tips, we're still under hosting tips, so this is information that only you have. We have just an outline of what type of person each character is. So for Trudy Wick, her character is deep thinking and driven. May B is sickly but loves nature. Judy Green is techie but hates nature. So the purpose of this is to allow you to look at the characters and say, oh, I know that my friend Martha would be a really great Trudy Wick because she's a deep thinker and she's really driven. Like, that's the type of character that she could play. So this just gives you some hints on how to assign the characters so that when they play them, it is not a huge leap from who they actually are. Some people really love that, but some people are not comfortable with that. These characters right here are the exact same character outlines or character descriptions that are in every character packet. The story is in every character packet, so everybody has access to this. At the end there, it gives you some goals that you're wanting to accomplish at the end of the game. If you accomplish them, cool. If you don't, that really, the ghost stuff you don't really need to accomplish. What you're looking for is to figure out who the criminal is, and that's number 1 and number 4. So who's responsible for the items missing from the girl's cabin? That's who the criminal is. Then we have the general rules of the game. Everybody has this, and then the notes. Everybody has this in their packet. Right here it says host tips. So if you recall, down here it says about 45 minutes after the questioning begins or when the questioning becomes slow, instruct the players that they can now turn their page past the stop sign to reveal the first memory jogger. This should stir up some new questioning. So memory jogger 1, memory jogger 2. So this is saying after the first set of memory joggers, so this is memory jogger 2, tell them to turn the page. Everybody, the first memory jogger is unique to every single person. They each have a different question or something that they've observed, but this second memory jogger is the same for everybody. So everybody has a copy of these 3 pages for their second memory jogger. So this just, the purpose of this is to pull out some clues and see if anything in here points more towards the criminal. So we've got like a newsletter, and then we've got pictures, and then like at the end of the week, summation. So that's the player packet. And then at the very back, we have the wrap up that gives a QR code to get you to Whodunit Mysteries, and then talks about social media if you want to post pictures of your game or of characters. Awesome. We love seeing pictures of characters and of you guys playing the games and how they how the characters end up and how the parties end up. In the hosting packet, there's also another thing called The Show Must Go On. This you do not want to read beforehand because it's gonna give spoilers about who the criminal may be. But you read this at the very end of the game. This is just what happens after the game is done. Just a quick little paragraph. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's inspirational, sometimes it's morbid. It's going to be different for each person, but there is a little ending story for each person. Okay, so that is the hosting packet. We then have the player packet. So we're just going to look at Trudy Wick right now. It gives her name right here, Trudy Wick. Like I said before, it has the rules of the game, the character packet, the character list, more character. It gives the story, that everybody has the story. It gives the object or the goals that we're looking for. And then it moves on to their personal character background. This gives the background, why they're at camp, who they are. It gives them their personality. It also will give clues to why they could possibly be the criminal. It will also give you clues about other people that you do want to get people to reveal and ask questions about. And then it also has personality and acting tips. So Trudy, bring your camera and take lots of pictures. If you've got a Polaroid, that's even better. Here's a little link to a Pinterest page that Trudy, the character, could click on and get ideas about what to wear. And then question that you may want to ask at the beginning of the game. Sometimes the beginning of the game can be really difficult to get into because people just aren't sure how the game goes, or they're not comfortable playing a different part, or they're maybe shy, or there's just lots of things that go into the beginning of the game that make people a little bit nervous. So if it's quiet, if people are looking at each other awkwardly, you can say, hey, turn to page, like to the last page of your character part, and it says questions you may want to ask at the beginning of the game. Bloop, there's a question. Go through and ask these questions. And usually once questions start getting asked, then people say, oh, well, I heard this, like they'll remember things from their part, and organically discussions begin to happen in conversations, and new questions begin to come out. And then we've got cabin assignments, notes, and then here we have got a page that says, stop, don't read past this page. So before the game, they can read all of this stuff, but don't read past this page before the game. The host will tell you when to move further to get additional clues. So once the initial 45 minutes-ish of conversation happens, and you say, okay, you can move past the stop sign, and then you have the first memory jogger. This memory jogger is unique to the individual. Everybody's going to have a different one. And then it's going to say, stop, don't read past this page. And this, and then when it's time for the second memory jogger, then you move on to this memory jogger that everybody has that's exactly the same. And then it's the last page. So that's how the character packets work. All right, so that's all the important stuff about Camp Run-A-Muk and the hosting packet and the player packets and all that stuff. I hope it all makes sense to you. I hope that when the time comes for the game, you guys have fun and really get into the game. Just remember that as you are playing the game, if things don't go the way that you expect, that's okay. That just simulates real life. So just have fun. Thank you so much for purchasing Camp Run-A-Muk, or for thinking about purchasing Camp Run-A-Muk. Hope you have a wonderful day.